you've talked about people like Paul Orndorff, yourself, obviously Sergeant Slaughter, and a few others who are basically top heels in the for the incumbent WWF champion to make them look good. By the time you and Tito were sharing a locker room in the WWF, where did you see him sort of in the pecking order as far as toward the main event talent, as an importance on the babyface side of the roster?
World Tag Team Champion, Intercontinental Champion, Hulk's partner in a special match, some kind of match. Although they usually didn't have building a babyface in that manner for Hulk. And normally, Steamboat and a couple other guys where Hulk could swoop in the card and carry him. But he was, he was a solid. Obviously he was going to be a solid position there. Like I said, World Tag Team Champion, or fighting or competing for the World Tag Team Champion, or competing for Intercontinental, or competing, a follow-away angle with a heel, but when the heels would do their second, the second part of their 6 months after going through the champ, 1 or 2 or 3 shots with the champ, and however many it turned out for the office, and he would be in a good spot to run an angle with me or Sergeant Slaughter or any of those top heels like that. They're leaving the territory, and I'm sure everybody be grateful, put him over, because it was just the way the business was in those days.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned a match with you, because I've written down the date of your first recorded singles match, 29th of December, 1983, in Landover, Maryland. And you really... Do you know when people talk about, your big feuds with Steamboat and Jimmy Snuka and Bob Backlund in the WWF era, and people mention Tito Santana as well. And what struck me is that you two guys really didn't have many matches together, or at least it didn't seem that way when I was doing the research through the matches. You maybe had a few matches before, the big IC title match where you dropped it to him in Boston, and then maybe only 1 or 2 matches afterwards, and then you disappeared. How come this is a feud that maybe in the memories of the fans is like a big deal? But really, you guys barely really shared the ring that much compared to so many others.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you the way the booking and stuff was going that way. It was a changing time in the territory. They were in a hurry to move things around, and Vince was that TNT and those other the Fuji Vice things and stuff were coming up, and it was like a movement era there within the office with within the boys, with the matches and everything else. So yeah, probably. I regret the finish. I was trying to do something clever on that Boston finish there, and I thought of it several times. She just went with the elbow and left it at that. It would have been. That would have been, of course, worked into it, built up a big series to finish like that. But I'll thank the room. I'll thought the room, trying to get fancy, and it was okay, but it wasn't.
Well, talk me through the whole thing then. Talk me through the whole elbow thing with the Boston match.
No, there was no elbow thing. Well, maybe there was, but it was a variation on a sunset flip that I was trying to get down there, and it just didn't come out as smooth as I wanted it to. And then looking back on it, I think in retrospect, I'd say it would have been much better with the elbow being Paul. But I was that type of heel that I could have lost that way without being that clever. I thought the room.
Were you? I can't imagine you were disappointed, losing the title in front, one of the best crowds in the entire nation. But I mean, really, in your heart of hearts, would you have preferred to have lost the belt in Madison Square Garden or some other arena, or is just Boston the perfect place to do that kind of thing?
Boston's a great place. Boston was excellent. Boston Garden The only thing, oh yeah, they wrote. We were the last match. I had to go on last that night. For some reason, they had something. Hulk was working the return. I don't know why we weren't going to return the title, but in some way we had to go last. That's the only thing. And no, Boston was a great market. Boston was a hell of a place. It kind of lost its shine because the Garden was run out of there and the TV had been changing a bit. But Boston was as good a place as it was, especially when it sold out. It was a madhouse.
Yeah, when I look at the old the full shows from that era, I always remember Boston always seemed to have like this yellow tinge on the floor.
Yeah.
So I always know it's Boston when it's just sort of like a weirdly yellow arena.
The parquet floor for the basketball team.